We seem to spend all our time talking about flows of immigration, people coming and going. But what about the broader picture? Let's consider the facts. Out of every 100 people living in Britain, 13 were born overseas. Compare that to just 9 back in 2004. The top 5 countries they come from? Poland, India, Ireland, Pakistan, and the United States.
Hi.
A whole 42% of the working population of London was born overseas, compared with just 5% in the north of England. There's clear economic issues here. How much do immigrants cost Britain's welfare state? Over a quarter of babies born in the UK last year had non-UK born mothers. That's the highest proportion in history. However, research from the OECD shows that immigrants actually bring in £7 billion more than they cost. That's the equivalent of more than a penny off the basic rate of income tax. But is Britain well equipped to deal with the influx? A higher population does boost GDP, but unless more homes are built, it means house prices could get increasingly out of reach. And then there's competition. Immigrants work harder. 71% of them are economically active, compared with 67% of UK-born citizens. And they're better qualified. 38% have university degrees, compared with 30% in the UK. And, contrary to popular opinion, they're not all plumbers. In fact, the most common industry for immigrants is finance, followed by health, retail, and manufacturing. It's had an undeniable impact on the jobs market. Since the start of the crisis, 7 British workers have lost their jobs for every 1 non-British worker who's lost theirs. This is an economic message. Britons need to work harder if they're going to compete. You can face this, or you can shut your eyes to it and shut the borders.
The Renaissance Hotel, where I actually worked as a waiter in my younger days, or a bit of moonlighting. It used to be known as the Penta Hotel, and we took it over last October. I came to London in '72 at the age of 13 and a half, and I didn't know the alphabet. I didn't even know a word of English, so it was very tough. I struggled through my O-levels in those days, and I guess I couldn't go any further because of lack of English, and didn't know what to do with my life. An uncle who came home and he said, "Surinder, why don't you be a pilot?" And I said, "How can I be a pilot with my, obviously just O-levels?" And he took me for a lesson at Elstree. I thought, yeah, you know, I can see myself being a pilot. So I actually went and got a job with British Airways as a junior clerk. I remember my salary was something like £34 a week. And in those days, to learn to fly, it was £21 an hour to learn to fly, which meant I could only really have 1 lesson per week. So after a couple of months at British Airways, I then went and got a job as a wine waiter at one of the airport hotels. In '82, I joined financial services, a company called Abbey Life, as a financial advisor. I'd now switched on to shift work, so I would actually do an early shift between 6:30 and 2:30 in BA. I'll then go to the Abbey office and do my admin work until 5, 6 o'clock. After which time I'll literally go home for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, quick dinner, and I'm out of the door, seeing clients in the evenings. And if I ever came back before 11 p.m, my dear wife or my mum would say, "What the hell's wrong? Didn't you get any sales or any deals?" I also started dabbling in property. I'd buy a house, a small shop, I'll do it up or rent it or sell it. In the early 90s, I was driving home and I saw on Bath Road, the A4 near Heathrow, these 4 derelict houses. They were right smack bang opposite the British Airways Crew Centre. So I then wrote to British Airways and I said, "I happen to own this bit of land opposite your crew centre. I've got an idea that we can actually build you a crew hotel." Well, that was my first hotel back in '99. We now have 15 hotels. I'm blessed. The hotel we're sitting in, the Sofitel, is our flagship. I started again dreaming about this long before they even started building Terminal 5. Our turnover is over 100 million, well over 100 million, and we employ nearly 2,000 people. From my own personal experience, my own personal views, I think the immigrants have done a tremendous amount of work and effort and what they've done to the economy in the UK. I mean, certainly over the past decade, I mean, there are so many, you know, if we didn't have the East Europeans, if we didn't have the Asians, if we didn't have the Chinese, all different backgrounds, I don't think the country would be where it is now. My parents came in '65, and they worked in factories and worked really hard. I'm proud to say that no one in the family has ever been to the dole, ever claimed a penny, and that's something I'm really proud of. If the need arises, then people should be looked after, and we've got to be humane. And I think, again, UK has been brilliant, but sometimes we've just been too soft as well. And it's not saying, well, you got migrants who'll actually come in and milk the system, or claim benefits when they shouldn't be. You get that from locals as well. You get that from all around. I think the whole world has changed, certainly since I came. People would say, oh, I'm not actually being successful because of my colour or my race or anything. And I have always said, well, no, actually, if you work hard, if you're ambitious, then these days that is not there at all. You just got to, sometimes you may have to work harder than the others.